Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome to the Good Morning Show. And this wonderful and beautiful day, there is sunshine out there. Well,
Really?
liquid sunshine, liquid sunshine, bro.
Liquid, yeah, a lot of that.
And lots of it, lots of it.
Right.
If you haven't been out or you haven't looked outdoors, Roy and I just came in a little bit ago with Jared, and we had to cover up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those days for your rain umbrella or your jacket or your slicker or whatever you got, because what we saw on the weekend.
At least we aren't floating yet.
Yeah, what we saw on the
Like
weekend
Saturday.
is continuing into this glorious day. I am blessed that the Lord woke me up and blessed me with another day, put my feet on the floor and got me over to this Black Talk radio station, and safely so, because there are all kinds of things that can happen and do happen when you are dealing with the liquid sunshine out there. It's when that liquid sunshine gets to boiling. Then the thunder happens and the lightning happens, and of course it's New Orleans, so the flooding happens.
Mm-hmm.
We had plenty of that on the weekend. Right now it's 91% chance of rain out there, and it will be going down through the morning to 57 and then on into the teens later this morning and into the 20s in the afternoon. So it's going to be raining somewhere throughout the day, and it's going to be cloudy everywhere throughout the day. So 100% chance of rain right now, 91% chance of rain in some places, and we got more clouds and then more clouds and partly sunny on Wednesday. And Thursday, at this point, things can change.
Yes.
Bright and sunny.
As they always do.
Bright and sunny. So get ready for that, because we go right back to it with cloudy and rain this weekend. So how was your drive-in?
Wet, like yours,
Yeah.
but not bad. I was driving in Saturday stuff.
Woohoo.
I went to I was in the 7th Ward at about 1 o'clock. And by the time I got to the intersection, where I-10 and 610 meet, it started raining. At least that's where I hit rain, right there. And by the time I got off at the Clearview exit, I was looking for a place to pull over. Because I really couldn't see.
Yeah. Well, thank you for doing that.
And I pulled over and sat in a parking lot for a little while. And said, well, let's go see if it's flooding. If I'll run into any water. Unfortunately, I didn't. But I knew that there were other places based on that amount of rain in that short period of time. There's some people who are having problems.
Well, there were a lot of problems out there. I caught part of it, and then my plans changed. It's like, okay, I'm not going to do this. At one point, I was over by Wisner along City Park.
Right.
And that's this, this is a few years old now, but that wonderful overpass bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
the engineers, architects, whoever, they did a good job with the bridge overall. But there's a huge stretch where, with this new construction, where there's water that gathered, and car. Fortunately, I saw the car ahead of me, about to go up the ramp, and he couldn't move.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this might be a one-way street this way, but I'm turning around.
Well, here's the addition to my story. 3 hours later, I was supposed to go to a function I was invited to for a friend of mine who is leaving his job. And It was in the 4400 block of Bowdoin.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. You're talking around Jesuit High School for people
yeah,
who want to
yeah.
know, you know. And I said, So yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go, But I knew that I shouldn't take the Earhart Expressway in
Hmm.
because I would have to go to the Carrollton underpass. And I said, no way that's open now. You know, no way that's not underwater in somebody's car or cars. It's not there. And so by the time I got there, I could tell because you can tell because there are garbage bags in the middle of the street and their garbage cans overturned because they floated, and I said, man, they had some real flooding around here, but it was down by that time.
Mm.
But you could tell.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how it goes here. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Well, um, we
Human
have a
error.
lot of, yeah. Oh, there's a lot more to that because it's ongoing, and we folks who live here, we know there are spots where when it rains, it's going to cause flooding. But
Mm-hmm.
when it rains as hard as it did on Saturday, pumps had to go into overdrive,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a little too much.
Yeah.
A little too much for what happened with the Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Mother Nature is not looking at all your pumps and making
That's
decisions
right.
about that kind of thing. Mother Nature's like, you should have taken care of these things.
Not
But
my fault.
yeah, right. I'm going to do what I need to do.
Yeah, not my fault.
Right. So look, it's 7:08 a.m. You got somewhere to be at 7:10. You got 2 minutes and a few more minutes if you got to be there at 7:15 or 7:20. But I'd like to hear from our Sewage and Water Board chief man, Mr. Heyman. His explanation about what the heck happened.
Hello, I'm Randy Heyman, Executive Director of the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans. As you know, the rainstorm on July 11th was significant. In the interest of being transparent, I wish to share some detailed information with you about the event. What happened? In the Carrollton Holly Grove Uptown area, over 3.5 inches of rain was recorded in an hour. In Mid-City, 2 to 3 inches were recorded in an hour. Instantaneous rainfall intensities between 6.5 and 7.5 inches per hour were recorded. The majority of the impacts were in District A, which were a combination of heavy rain in a short period of time, a pump issue at 2 stations, DPS 7 and DPS Pritchard. But it's important to note that there was no power issues for the static frequency changers at the power complex. We had delays bringing pumps online at DPS 7. There was nothing wrong with the pumps at this station. That's an important part. The water levels at this station rose 6 feet in 20 minutes. Ultimately, it appears that human error was a major contributing factor to the delays in pumping. We have 3 pumps at this location. After one was pumping, when we tried to bring the other 2 online, there was an error made with a vacuum system, which meant that we did not have any pumps at this station online for around 45 minutes. This resulted in high water levels that impacted the lower Lakeview area and Mid-City City Park for about an hour and a half. In the short term, we will have additional staff at this location to ensure the pumps are operated correctly. We are conducting an internal investigation, and we are reviewing and will enhance any training protocols accordingly. Pritchard Pump Station in Holly Grove is an automatic station that is not manned. The pumps at this location are designed to come on automatically, and we check the automatic pump 3 times a week regularly and when it is expected to rain. There are 2 pumps at this location. On Saturday, both pumps came on automatically at about 1:15 p.m. After further investigation, we identified that one pump went offline at 1:30 p.m. and had to be restarted by hand. This resulted in high water levels that impacted the Holly Grove neighborhood for about 2 hours. We are increasing monitoring of this station to ensure that the pumps are functioning properly and looking into notifications for automatic pumps. We are aware of major flooding in Uptown, including along Claiborne Avenue. Our system is designed to drain 1 inch of rain for the first hour and a ½ inch of rain for each hour after. The amount of rain we received on Saturday overwhelmed the surface drainage system in many areas. Even if the catch basins are clear of debris, it can still take time to drain a large volume of water like we saw yesterday. The Carlton underpass had to be closed. The pump at this location was pumping and functional. However, when the Palmetto Canal levels are high, it is difficult to pump additional water into the canal. The underpass at Marconi, City Park, and Canal I-610 were also flooded, but are back to normal. At the canal underpass, this area often experiences flooding when the canal levels are full. This is the DPS 7 drainage area, so the pump issues there were a contributing factor to this underpass station. The Marconi City Park underpass was pumping as designed throughout the event. However, debris clogged catch basins at this underpass, which caused drainage to slow down temporarily. Our crews removed the debris so that it could drain. We also want to let people know that the above ground canals and box underground canals move stormwater to our pump stations to discharge them into the lake. So when you see high canal levels, this does not mean that the water is not draining. In fact, it means that the pump stations are pumping water as intended. Now, what are we doing to address these problems? We had 2 unfortunate events yesterday, which have since been resolved. We cleaned debris around the underpass stations to ensure that our equipment is able to pump as they are designed. These low-lying areas accumulate debris easily. Crews cleaned catch basins today on South Claiborne Avenue. Yesterday, crews helped clean in certain areas of Lakeview. Crews removed debris from flooding, flushed the connections to the box canals, underground drainage canals to ensure everything can function as expected. We ask residents to clean any trash and debris from in front of their catch basins and to report any standing flood water to Flood Tracker on our website or by calling 311. Overall, across the city, we have 87 of 93 pumps working. And as we gather additional information and facts, I will come back and share what I know with you. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Well, I thought it'd be good to hear from the guy in charge, the top guy at the Sewage and Water Board, giving an explanation. So he, of course, identified the amount of rain in a short period of time as one of the reasons. If you're set up for 1 inch and you get 2.5 inches, then you have to do something with that water. And as it's happening, is not the time to do something with the water. And he also acknowledged, what did he say? Human error.
Yeah. Someone made a mistake. Well, I mean, it's, admirable that he just said that. They just admitted it. I like that. Okay.
I do. Yep.
Rather than,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Rather than try to say,
somebody.
We're investigating.
Yeah, somebody. Yeah.
We're going to find out more, and then we're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
That happens far too often.
All the time.
Yeah, far too often.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that that the brother said it, and said it so quickly, and while providing other information as well. But it was a heck of a thing, and this is one of those things where, the next day and then Monday morning in this case, since it happened on Saturday, it's like all hands on deck. This is not a meeting. This is the what the heck happened,
Yeah.
and what we're going to do about it. Okay, before we leave, action steps. You. Yeah, because people were frustrated.
Yeah.
Even though we know this kind of thing can happen,
Right.
the number of places where it happened, and over the stretch of time.
Yeah, you knew, it's a given, or it should. Everybody should know by now. I can't remember the numbers, but if it's such and such amount of rain in 1 hour, it can handle it. If it exceeds that, there's really nothing we can do. Okay, I mean that's just a fact. Okay, we know that. But a situation like Saturday, you kind of knew that. Something's up. Okay, for this to happen. In these areas right here, something's not working right. And yeah, I appreciate that Mr. Heyman just come out and say, hey, it was human error. Somebody didn't do the job right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's
missed the key point.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So, of course, we wish them well with dealing with their colleagues and bosses this weekend and today.
Yeah.
But hopefully they weren't on one of those improvement plans. So they're not getting that right up today. So hopefully they're in good stead to this point. It is 7:18, and we're going to be taking a break in a bit. We've got a good show lined up for you today. We're going to hear from our friend Kathy Hambrook from the Amistad Research Center. They've got an event coming up, and if you recall, she was on here not too long ago talking about the event. And then, guess what happened? Rain. Rain, and it was enough rain that her event and a bunch of other events around the city was like, we're not going to risk it. We're just either not do it or we're going to postpone. And the Amistad decided to postpone. So she's going to tell us about the update. And if you bought a ticket to the last one, okay, now do I have to buy a second ticket? She'll let us know
right
about that. So
right, I want to know. I bought 2 tickets.
Of course, you want to know.
I want to know.
Yeah,
come on, tell me.
Absolutely. We're also going to be hearing from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. We're going to hear about climate change and climate control. It's become quite the word and catchphrase over the recent years. Some people still don't want to believe it's here, but this is the guy and his team at Robert Wood Foundation. They do the work. So we're going to hear from him in a bit as well. We're also going to look into what the heck happened with Liz Murrow and the grand jury and the subsequent actions. And we're going to talk with our own Will Snowden, the Loyola law professor, head of the Jury Project. And we're going to see what his perspective is as we go into this segment. And that's going to be coming up right after the break. 7:21 a.m. I'm Will Sutton. I'm here with Ro Brown. This is WBOK. What is that talk line number, Ro?
The number is 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 12:30 a.m. what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Kubel, and here are today's headlines for you. With more heavy rain expected today, the Sewage and Water Board says that they are making improvements to their pumps. This after issues at multiple pump stations led to widespread flooding on Saturday. According to the Sewage and Water Board, one of two pumps at the Pritchard Pump Station in Holly Grove didn't turn on automatically like it was meant to. Meantime, Lakeview and Mid-City also saw flooding this weekend. The Sewage and Water Board officials say human error led to an issue with the pumps at Station 7, resulting in high water levels for about an hour and a half. The Sewage and Water Board says they are looking into those issues at both pump stations. And New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno has officially been in office now for 6 months. And today, she is expected to release a full report on the city's accomplishments so far under her administration. The report is expected to include updates on public safety infrastructure, task forces created, and much more. And that is a look for you at your Monday morning headlines. I'm Elizabeth Kubel for WBOK. Have a great day, everyone.
Hi, I'm Leo Jackson, host of Sunday Gospel here every Sunday morning, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 12 o'clock till 2 p.m. You don't want to miss this move of God. It happens only on WBOK. You listen to all day long.
Life has a way of shifting priorities, changing needs, and pivoting plans. Home Bank is there for all of them. Their bankers partner with you for every step along the way, from understanding your needs to celebrating your success. Home Bank is invested in the vibrant spirit of our community and in you. So partner with them. Stop on by any banking center in the greater New Orleans area or visit home24bank.com to get started today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, a member of the FDIC.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today is a WDSU First Warning Weather Alert Day. We are talking about the possibility of some heavy rain as we start off for the first half of the day. Scattered showers, but downpours are expected to be the heaviest once we get to 2 p.m. to about 6 p.m. Flash flooding is possible for us. Highs for today will be into the mid-80s. More of that heavy rain is expected for your Tuesday, but not nearly as much as what we'll see for today. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Reshaw.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I am Will Sutton, and I'm here with Ro Brown.
Good morning,
And we were talking about the rain. There was a lot of it, and the flooding and all. And now we're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk about Liz Murrill, the Attorney General, being indicted by a grand jury, and what led to that, and what's happened since then. Because as a number of us, quite a number of us, not dozens or scores, not hundreds, but thousands of people, it was like, a grand jury can do that? It's like, what? So the grand jury decided that they wanted to bring an indictment against Attorney General Liz Murrill. Even the mayor of New Orleans said, I didn't know they could do that. But let's talk to somebody who knows quite a bit about the law, about judicial matters, and specifically about juries, and that is my brother Will Snowden, Loyola Law Professor and head of the Jury Project. Good morning, Will. How are you? Good morning, Will. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fabulous. I'm here with Ro Brown. we had a human error because because I didn't push the button on time. So.
He's making fun of the sewage and water board. Okay, that's what he's doing with the human error thing. That's what he's doing. All right. If you didn't catch that, that's what.
Pump on and start the drain.
Yeah, right.
All right, you caught it then. You know what he's talking about.
We'll see. Oh boy! So, Will, we've had lots of drama that I don't think anybody had this on their bingo card for this happening. And rather than me give a summary of how we got here, give an overview. But then let's break it down after that, the overview, to what are we really looking at, what should we be concerned about. But let's talk about the overview. What's your overview of what happened with the grand jury indictment?
Yeah, to catch everybody up, we need to remember that in America, there are two different types of juries. There is a grand jury and there is a petite jury or a petit jury. The main function of the grand jury is to decide whether or not a person should be indicted. Should they be charged with a crime? So grand juries start a case. Petite juries or petit juries, those are the juries that we see in the courtroom, and they answer the question of whether or not the prosecutor has proven their case beyond a reasonable doubt, which will lead to either a guilty verdict or a not guilty verdict. So when we're thinking about grand juries, there's two ways in which charges can be instituted out of the grand jury. The most common way, the way that many of us are familiar with, is when the prosecutor is presenting a case to members on the grand jury, and those grand jury members listen to any witnesses that the prosecutor may have been asking questions of, any other information that the grand jurors have received, and they decide whether or not to vote what is called a true bill of indictment or a no true bill of indictment. Now, this is how 95%, actually, I don't want to give a percentage because I didn't pull that number, but this is how the majority of indictments are instituted and secured through the leadership of an assistant district attorney or prosecutor presenting to the grand jurors. Now let's get to what happened in this case involving Attorney General Liz Murrill. One of the functions that a grand jury can utilize is their investigatory function. And the way that this works is if a grand juror serving on a grand jury in Louisiana has reason to believe that a offense has been committed, they can share that information with the other grand jurors. And then as a body, they will decide whether or not to investigate the matter that the grand juror has reported to the grand jury. So that's what happened here. The grand juror brought up the letters that the Attorney General Murrill shared with many of our elected leaders and raised suspicions perhaps about whether or not the tone and the tactic of the letter violated any crimes. And so they launched an investigation. I don't know the details of the investigation, but we should know that grand juries do have subpoena power, meaning they can subpoena witnesses to come and testify in front of the grand jury. They can subpoena documents that can be reviewed by the grand jury. And after reviewing and listening to all that information, they then decide whether or not there is sufficient information to proceed with an indictment. Now, since District Attorney Williams was one of the individuals who received a letter from Attorney General Murrill, he recused his office from the matter, and then a special prosecutor was appointed to oversee the proceedings with the grand jury, since the Orleans Parish District Attorney's Office recused themselves. So an indictment was handed down against Attorney General Murrill, 8 counts of malfeasance in office, 8 counts of public intimidation, and this corresponds to the number of individuals who received the letter, and which included 5 city council members, the mayor, the district attorney, and I believe retired Judge Calvin Johnson.
Right.
Once this indictment dropped, then the fighting began, and that's the next chapter of where we are. But I wanted to make sure everybody understood kind of the context of where we are right now.
Who? I know who can be on a petite jury. I can't. Okay. Who can be on a grand jury? Who are those people? Where do they come from?
They come from the exact same source list that petite jurors are summoned from. So in Louisiana and New Orleans, we use voter registration and DMV.
Okay. Same people. Okay.
In a petite jury, you would have a voir dire. You would have questioning going on between the attorneys and the potential jurors. You do not have that process with the grand jury. They just receive the summons in the mail from a random kind of algorithm that pulls the addresses, and then you're on the grand jury, barring any conflict of interest or conflict in your schedule.
So those of us who receive jury notices and decide whether we want to participate or not, that's the most common type of jury notification.
Yeah, you get a jury summons in the mail, and typically it will be for service on an actual jury trial. Now, you can be summoned for grand jury service, which is very different than presiding or sitting through a jury trial.
So there's with the petite jury, there's a bunch of people called. Some people show up. It's still a bunch of people, but a smaller bunch of people. And then the prosecutor and the defense question these jurors and say, essentially, in or out until they have a complete jury. Is that correct?
That's right. If it's a 6-person jury, there is a fewer amount of strikes that each side is going to get. If it's a 12-person jury, then each side gets 12 strikes for that type of an offense.
Okay. So you said it's different for the grand jury, but it comes from the same pool. So
exactly,
if you're called, you have to serve, and how many people are on a grand jury?
Yeah, so if you get summoned for jury service, right, the summons is going to indicate if it's for regular jury service on a petite jury or if it's for grand jury service, which has a different timeline. For the petite jury, for the trial jury, that is purely influenced by the nature of the crime and the nature of the trial. If it's a grand jury service, that is going to take much longer. So grand jury service is typically once a week. Let's say it's a Friday or a Monday, and you meet on that day. It's usually the same day every week, and the prosecutor is usually just kind of presenting cases to the grand jury during that time period. It can be between 12 months. It can be 6 months. I don't know the exact turnover in which grand jurors are cycled through in New Orleans.
So is this sort of like class where the teacher has a syllabus and you take care of certain things on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and Tuesday or Thursday, depending on your classes are scheduled, and you're moving along, but you take questions, but it's related to the content that you have raised. But then one student says, but what about this? Is it something like that?
So I would say it's something like that. So the prosecutor is really curating the information that the jury is going to be considering. So usually they'll call a detective, and the detective will talk about, the investigation and the evidence that they may have covered and the witness they may have spoken to. And then the prosecutor, let's say they wanted to call a witness, they could have that witness come and testify in the grand jury. And essentially what the prosecutor is trying to do is put enough information in front of the grand jury to say, hey, there is probable cause for this charge. And probable cause is that legal standard that the prosecutors are required to meet in order to secure an indictment.
What about the anonymity situation? I'm sure you probably know, and if you don't know, there was a journalist who was handcuffed covering this. Explain that. Why? What was the deal?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So this gets to this question of what does open court mean? And from my, kind of review of Louisiana law, open court references kind of two different meanings. there's a meaning for operational purposes, and then there's a meaning for public accessibility purposes. So for operational purposes, open court is kind of what you think it would be, where court is in session, there's a judge that's presiding, the parties to the case are present, and they're engaging in what is kind of classically described as judicial business. So that's one version of open court for operational purposes. Now, for public accessibility purposes, and I think this is where the reporter kind of conversation comes in, there's another definition. So Louisiana courts have defined open court for public accessibility purposes as being a court which is freely open to spectators. And so this kind of, is consistent with the framers' intentions of having open court, thinking that we don't want anybody's liberty being taken away privately. We want the community to be able to see how the government is trying to take away a person's liberty. So in this matter, we have the report of a news reporter being detained, being put in handcuffs for trying to enter into Judge Roche's courtroom after he secured the courtroom. Now, for the most part, courts need to be open for this public accessibility purpose. However, if there is an overriding interest, then the judge can close the court. So the question becomes, is Judge Roche's concern about the anonymity and confidentiality of the grand jurors an overriding interest? And we could say, it's reasonable from his perspective, if he was appreciating that people were trying to get into the courtroom to identify who these grand jurors were, and perhaps was concerned about these grand jurors being intimidated, right? Then any reviewing court could say, hey, this is an overriding interest, and the judge acted within his bounds of securing the courtroom. Now, we do know that Governor Landry, shortly after the indictment came down, talked about launching an investigation into the grand jury. And so perhaps some of this concern that Judge Roche was worried about in terms of protecting the anonymity and confidentiality of the grand jurors is actually coming to fruit, or is coming to reality, because now the governor has threatened to send law enforcement to investigate the grand jury.
But generally speaking, are jury trials and grand jury investigations, grand jury gatherings open to the public?
Jury trials are open to the public. Grand jury proceedings or grand jury like investigation and proceedings are generally not open to the public. However, the grand jury returns are typically open to the public. So the grand jury, I want us to separate two functions of what we're looking at. So grand jury investigation, so like when people are being brought into the grand jury room and information is being shared, those proceedings are confidential. But when the grand jury has decided to indict somebody, the process of returning or announcing or kind of delivering that indictment in court is typically an open proceedings to the public.
So it's not uncommon for grand juries' conclusions to be announced, and anybody can go into the courtroom and see who they are and hear what their actions are?
That's right.
Okay. So I guess Judge Roche was concerned about the security of the court, in part because he knew what they had decided and because of the profile of the person being indicted. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think that's a fair conclusion. I haven't been able to speak with Judge Roche or heard any more of any filings he has made, but just kind of reading the situation from what I've been able to read suggests that his overriding interest was the safety of the grand jurors.
Okay. I'll ask the simple question, as I always do. So who should the governor and the attorney general be mad at? And by that I mean, who do you think they think is behind this? Because that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, I think the way that it's being framed is like this is political retaliation for the myriad of things that have been bouncing back and forth between the state government trying to exercise control over local New Orleans governance and New Orleans trying to govern itself. There continues to be this ping pong being bounced back and forth between state government and local government. And unfortunately, the people of New Orleans are the ping pong ball. Now, who they should start with is like, how did this process kind of originate, right? If this investigation was purely launched by a grand juror, meaning your everyday New Orleans citizen, then they should only be mad at themselves for the ways in which they have exercised leadership that would give the impression that they are exercising their authority in an illegal way, so much so that an everyday citizen would say, hey, I think what this attorney general did in sending these letters was a crime. Let's take a deeper look. Now, if the investigation by the grand jury was not initiated by, just one of the grand jurors, and there was some other kind of momentum behind that, then whoever that actor is, I think would point to who the attorney general and the governor should be potentially mad with or concerned about.
Okay. So as we look at the situation in court where Judge Roche made a decision that part needed to be closed, but based on what his reading of the guidelines are for open court, that it could be. How does it reach the next level of saying who can be in the courtroom, who can be out of the courtroom?
I think there is a lot of deference given to trial court judges who are kind of what they call, in a sense of first impression of safety concerns in their own courtroom. That impression isn't always easy to be gleaned at an appellate level. So I think when it comes to deciding who gets the discretion to determine if an overriding interest is present to close the courtroom, I think that always rests with the trial judge. And then the appellate courts, right? So the Circuit Court of Appeals and Louisiana Supreme Court, they will then interrogate whether or not the judge's determination of overriding interest, was reasonable or not, given the information that they are providing.
Okay. And so let's go to the next step, and that is handcuffing somebody. Now, obviously, the judge didn't actually do that, but a deputy did. And as best I can tell, there was no deputy supervisor on the site. So when deputies are assigned to the courthouse and courtrooms, I believe it's common for the judge to talk to a deputy and say, can you look at this, or can you close the door, bring this up, that kind of thing, so that there's some law enforcement and order there. Was that within the realm of the judge's responsibility, or did a higher up in the sheriff's office need to be contacted?
The sheriff deputy's presence in the courtroom, one of their main functions is to preserve order and safety in the courtroom. And if the judge has given an order to clear the courtroom, right, the judge has the authority to do that. And the enforcers of that order are going to be the deputies in the room. I want us to move away from this example with Attorney General Liz Murrell's indictment to give another example to kind of make it clear. Not necessarily to make it clear, but just to give another example. So let's say that yes.
Are we going to take a break right now? And I am really glad that you're going to get to that, because I think this is a part of how we need to understand this, whether, it's Liz Murrell or not, help us understand. And then, as we look to the future, are people going to move away from wanting to serve on these juries or some people going to want to say, I hope I get picked for a grand jury because I want something that I got to think deserves investigation. So think about that. We're going to go to break. Ro Brown, what's that talk line number?
504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Hey, this is Dave Poston. Be sure to listen to WBOK 1230 AM every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. and Sunday evening at 5 p.m., bringing you the best Southern Soul barroom music with the Southern Soul Weekend Party Mix, hosted by me, of course. I'll be playing your favorite Southern Soul music by artists from all over the South, right here on WBOK 1230 AM or online at WBOK1230.com. The station you listen to longer. Listen to longer. Listen to longer.
This is Andronika Morris, host of Put Housing First. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock, where we will discuss how housing affects every aspect of our lives and what's necessary, what's needed to guarantee housing for all. Join us every Tuesday at 12 o'clock as we dig down deep onto the issues that affect all of us.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
New Orleans, and welcome back to Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton with Ro Brown. We're in conversation with Will Snowden, legal expert, Loyola professor, and head of the Juror Project. So you are about to separate the Liz Murrill part and give us some more insight.
Yes, I just want to understand, another example of a judge ordering the courtroom to be cleared and deputies enforcing that order, sometimes utilizing handcuffs. So imagine that we are in the conclusion of a case, a person has been convicted of a crime, and it is the day of sentencing. Sometimes members of the victim's family or the victim themselves will make victim impact statements. And the victim and the victim's family might be present, the defendant and the person who's been convicted of a crime, their family might be present. And it's just can be a very emotionally charged moment and room. There have been scenarios or instances where tensions have run so high that words get shouted back and forth between the victim's family and the defendant's family, and there becomes a little bit of an uproar. And so the judge, orders their courtroom to be cleared, which is an authority that they have. And then if somebody is not following that order, not voluntarily kind of walking out of the courtroom, and let's say that they're trying to run, into towards the defendant, a deputy would be within their authority, right? They're enforcing the judge's order to clear the courtroom to put that person in restraints if it rose to that level. So, judges have the authority and the relationship and kind of the ability to order the deputies to enforce their orders, when they're presiding on the bench. And there's two types of ways in which a person could be charged for not following a judge's order. Now, traditionally, that term is called contempt, but there's two types of contempt. There's constructive contempt and there's direct contempt. And so when we have a judge clearing a courtroom and there's somebody in the audience that is disobeying that order, that would be considered, direct contempt because you are directly not following the order of the judge in the courtroom. And that would be a potential charge. It doesn't have to be a charge, but that could be a charge if the judge wanted to pursue such an action. So to answer the question, a supervisor doesn't necessarily need to be, present for a sheriff deputy to enforce a lawful order that the judge has provided.
Okay, so this is in New Orleans. If this had happened in Ouachita Parish, or if this had happened in Caddo, East Baton Rouge, or someplace else, do you think we'd be looking at this the same way?
I don't think so, because those other parishes, I don't believe have had such an elongated fight over kind of local governance matters between the state and the local authority. That is certainly part of the context with which this indictment is situated. And I think since we have that context, since we have that backdrop, there's just a much larger conversation to the allegations in the indictment that are framed by the political context. I think, that takes away from any perceived merits of the indictment, right? There's been arguments made by Attorney General Murrow's defense team that are really squarely attacking the procedural fairness of this particular indictment, any conflicts of interest that they are alleging against the special prosecutor, and of course they are representing that her actions sending these letters to the New Orleans elected officials is within her authority. But if we did not have these other kind of distractors, I think we would be having a much more focused conversation about the nature of the allegations, as opposed to these kind of contextualizing factors that call the nature of the indictment, of the integrity of the indictment, into question.
Has there ever been anything like this in this state?
I don't know. It is extremely rare for an investigation to be launched by the grand jury. And then I would say it's even more rare for that investigation to be launched into an elected official. So I haven't done thorough enough research to say this has never happened before. But based on some folks I've spoken with, I'm in agreement with them that this is a very, very rare utilization of the grand jury and an indictment from their investigation.
All right. So as we move forward, I know we've got a few more minutes. Can you speak to the tone, the heat, the give and take that we've seen between Governor Jeff Landry and Helena Moreno, our mayor, the Attorney General Liz Murrow, and even the Republican Party jumped in on this, and others. And how are all of those comments and often disparaging remarks going to have an impact on what happens next?
Yeah. So, as was mentioned, I'm the director of the Juror Project, and if there's one main goal that we are trying to achieve, it is to ensure that our juries accurately represent the communities where these trials or these grand juries are being convened. And when we hear elected leaders in Louisiana talking negatively and disparaging those very New Orleanians that represent our community in their service, I think is just a complete, disrespect to the privilege that it is to represent all Louisianans that both Attorney General and Governor Landry have been elected to do. And to talk about everyday New Orleanians and to describe them as a kangaroo grand jury is, just completely disrespectful. It is a poor exercise of leadership, and New Orleanians deserve better, regardless of if we voted for Attorney General Murrow or Governor Landry. Once you are elected, you don't only represent the people who voted for you, you represent everybody within the state of Louisiana. So when those remarks were made, I was really upset, because we do a lot of work trying to get people to be excited about serving on a jury, and then to have elected officials to not only be disrespectful to these people who have taken time out of their schedule to serve on a grand jury, but then also to threaten an investigation, sending law enforcement to members of this grand jury's front door is something that we're really concerned about. So we're concerned about this type of intimidation and how it might cause somebody to add additional concerns that they might have to serving on a grand jury. But despite those remarks being made, I'm still optimistic and hopeful that people will see jury service as a really unique way to not only serve your community, to be involved in conversations of accountability, but when the moments present themselves, right, grand juries can serve as a really unique opportunity to serve as a check on the government if you think the government is abusing its power. And we've been seeing this kind of resurgence of jury power across the country in this moment, where we've actually seen grand juries refuse indictments from prosecutors who perhaps might be pursuing politically motivated prosecutions. And then in this instance, in grand jury investigation in New Orleans, if those grand juror members clearly thought that Attorney General Liz Murrill violated both the statute for malfeasance in office and public intimidation, then they're using the grand jury power of indictment to serve on a check of the government as well. So it's really important to contextualize like the history and the value of jury service, right? We often say that the framers of the Constitution love the right to a jury, that we call it the right so nice they named it twice, because it is both in Article 3, Section 2 of the original Constitution, as well as in the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution as it relates to a right for a criminal jury trial. And remember, the framers wanted everyday people to be the last line of defense from an abusive government. And if this is a scenario in which the grand jury has clearly thought that Liz Murrill abused her power, then they're kind of acting and utilizing their authority consistent with the framers' intention to prevent that from happening.
Okay, we got one call here. Good morning, Ryan. This is Will Sutton and Ro Brown, and we're on with Will Snowden. We've got about 40 seconds, Ryan.
40 seconds. Okay, no problem. Yeah, so given the governor's role, given his position as governor, would it be considered jury tampering that he went through unofficial lines of communication to basically jury tamper with the jury and the public perception of this case?
My understanding of how the jury tampering statute is drafted, it means kind of influence or tampering with a jury that is actively considering a case, like a trial, or even considering an indictment. So since the indictment has already been delivered and this investigation is happening after the return of that indictment, I don't think it rises to the level of jury tampering per se. But the fact that he is saying that he's going to investigate them is something that we should be concerned about from a perspective of jury intimidation.
Wonderful. All right, Will Snowden, thank you so much for joining us. If somebody wants to find out more about you and your work with the Juror Project, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so the email is will@thejurorproject.org. We are active on social media. The handle is @Juror Project.
All right, very good. Well, thank you, sir, for joining us this early on the Good Morning Show. Appreciate your time. Lord's blessings, and have a fantastic day.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, bye. All right, folks, we're going to go to break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about climate change with a representative from the Robert Wood Foundation. I'm Will Sutton here with Ro Brown. It's 7:59. We got somewhere to be at 8. The clock just changed. So you are either on time or you're late because it's 8 a.m. now. If you've got some things on your mind about climate change, we might be able to get a call or two in, but we're going to have some time with our guests as we move along and keep on track with that. Don't forget, we got Kathy Hambrick coming up. We also are going to get to some interesting HBCU drama with developments this past weekend. And we're going to touch on some sports news as well. This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. California Governor Gavin Newsom says he supports the process of selecting a new Democratic nominee in Maine's Senate race, saying it's time for Democrats to move forward.
Every second we're talking about the past is a second wasted in terms of the essential nature of that race.
The move comes after Democrat Graham Plattner suspended his campaign amid a sexual assault allegation he denies. Chicago's Black Mayor Brandon Johnson's effort to put a millionaire tax question before voters has been blocked. City Council committee ruled the proposal did not qualify as an emergency measure. The advisory referendum would have asked voters whether they support a 3% tax on millionaires. And Schoolboy Q is teasing a new album. The rapper announced a project titled Thank Q on Instagram, telling fans he's putting the finishing touches on the 12-track release. No release date has been announced. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to Good Morning Show. It's 8:03 a.m. Thank you for continuing to tune in, whether you're tuned in at 7:02, 7:04, 7:06, or even 7:58. But if you're just tuning in, you're right on time because we're going to be jumping the conversation with Alonzo Plo, Chief Science Officer and Vice President of Research, Evaluation, and Learning at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. If you haven't been with us, my name is Will Sutton. I'm here with Ro Brown. And let's see what Mr. Alonzo has to share with us today about climate change. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Fabulous. How's the weather where you are?
Fortunately, it's cooled off a little bit from the heat wave we were all experiencing around the July 4th, but I know given the topic that we're talking about today, that will be temporary and the heat will come back.
Where are you? Where are you?
I'm in Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
Right.
All right.
Yep. Okay. All right. So, of course, this is New Orleans. In Greater New Orleans, we're used to different types of climates and climate impact. Just recently on Saturday, we had major storms, and our sewage and water board operations are used to having lots of rain and a drainage system that can get overworked sometime, and we have flooding. So one of the things that happened is our average rainfall that the system is built for got overwhelmed because of the number of inches of rain that fell within an hour in a matter of a few hours. So part of that is our drainage. But do you see extraordinary circumstances involving more rain as a result of climate change?
Yes, I mean, climate change affects so many things, and I don't have to tell you or your audience about the impact of extreme weather. You experience it all. I think that the same thing that climate change affects more rain is the same thing that climate change does with hurricanes, because as you all experience, the hurricanes now, because of global warming, they hold more water, and when they hold more water, they are stronger and have much more impact. So global warming, the warming of the environment, the warming of the sea level, temperature rise, all of those kinds of things are the impact of climate change on heat and extreme weather.
Doc, what about, well, I always think about this because, there are deniers of, climate change and that sort of thing. I mean, how is it affecting, the government cuts and everything, and people who don't believe that, this kind of thing exists and that it has an effect on the climate. But, how is that affecting us?
It's you introduced me as where I am now as at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, but for most of my career, I was public health director at a number of cities in Boston, Seattle, Los Angeles, and climate change. What the administration has done to deny the totally accepted scientific fact that climate change is happening. It's affecting people's health in the short run. Their elimination of funding to key agencies that provide data and information that give early warning to state and local governments to respond, and wiping out a generation of climate change researchers is just a tragedy. Making this a political issue doesn't the heat, it will still be there. The inclement weather is still there. What the administration has done has just made us all less well protected, and the result of that are unnecessary illness, and even in the case of heat and other climate disasters, death. So again, this is accepted science all over the world, and this particular administration's rejection of the broad consensus on the effect of climate change on health is really unconscionable.
So some of those things, actually, it just so happens that this weekend I was talking to somebody who deals with some of these issues. I probably should stop and say, not identify the person specifically, but that person was saying that people have no idea about the types of people and the types of instruments that have been disengaged. So there are some where there are balloons that go up, and the balloons are there, but the person who monitors the balloons is not there because so the balloons cannot be used. And same thing for other weather trackers. And that was one of the things that led to the horrific summer camp flooding, where if the right people were in place, they could have been warned. It wouldn't have stopped it, but they could have been warned. Can you put that kind of thing in context for us?
That is a great example of what I was saying before. The administration has cut back both the people who support these systems, and in some cases, they have tried to take away those early warning systems. They were just recently stopped by court action from taking out the ocean temperature monitoring system that has been critical to understanding ocean warming and its impact. Their cuts to NOAA, the federal government organization that monitors weather, they've decimated their staff. They've decimated the EPA staff. So even if they have the balloons, even if they have the satellite data, there's no one to analyze it. And from my life as a public official, they aren't getting that early warning data so that we can respond. And you gave a great example about the camp disaster. Those early emergency response is about timely information to help people respond. It's not going to stop the actual emergency, in this case, the flooding, but it's going to save lives. And I think the example you gave is a great example of why it is so unconscionable that the administration has taken away life-saving information from communities all through the country.
Mm. Okay. So, and what we're referencing, folks, I realize we haven't given a name, but that was the Camp Mystic situation where 28 people died
in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
About a year ago.
Yeah,
about a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago.
And just recently, there was so much flooding in parts of Missouri and Kentucky. Fortunately, about 200 campers were rescued, but that too was probably a situation where if they had had a warning, they may not have had to be rescued because they could plan accordingly, disrupting a wonderful summer camp, but getting them out of harm's way. So, all right. So,
right.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying prior to this administration, and even during the first Trump administration, these systems have been in place for years to help protect early warning signals of weather changes. And again, it's just a tragedy to politicize something that's so important to people's health and safety. Again, it's around the issues of the summer with extreme heat. It's really important to get that information, that weather information, out to people early so there can be plans for it. When I used to run public health departments, so you can set up cooling centers and the things that you need to do to protect vulnerable neighbors, particularly the elderly or people with chronic health conditions. So again, that having information about weather and is really an important part of what keeps people safe. And it's just really terrible that the administration has decided to politicize something like this.
We're talking to Alonzo Plow, Chief Science Officer and Vice President of Research, Evaluation, and Learning at the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Impact of extreme weather events on low income and or people of color. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah. I mean, for low-income populations, people of color, anybody who's marginalized, extreme weather events are going to make a situation. If your housing is inadequate, if your housing was built in an area on a flood-prone area, which a disproportionate number of housing situations around the country have put low-income housing in environmentally risky areas. If you haven't had consistent access to health care and medical care, when an extreme weather event happens, whether it's excessive heat or flooding, it's going to make your situation worse. And we see across the country, and I saw as a public health director in many places around the country, that these extreme weather events, particularly heat, is going to have a disproportionate effect on communities of color. And climate change, way we talk about it in my work at the foundation, is that climate change is an amplifier of structural racism. It takes the chronic situation of our communities being marginalized, and it makes it even worse.
So what can we do, especially in an area subject to big thunderstorms and huge storms of all kinds, and on leading into hurricanes that can be category 1, 2, 3, before. We have experienced all of them. What can we do to prepare ourselves?
Well, again, in New Orleans, you have my father's side of the family comes from your area. You need to be prepared from the individual level, and again, residents of New Orleans know this. You need to have a plan. You need to understand what's going to happen, what you do, what the exit routes are for around the flooding. All of those things are really important at the household level. That you and if you've got vulnerable relatives, vulnerable neighbors, you should know who they are and be able to help them. When I was a public health provider, I said your neighbors your first responder often, and those sort of neighborhood connections are really important at the community level. And then on the governmental level, again, the support that I've known and worked with many of the public health directors.
Hello?
Hello?
May have lost him.
Dr. Plow? We are having some kind of technical issue. We are trying to reconnect with Dr. Plow from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. We're having a conversation about climate control, climate change, and what we can do to control the things that we can control versus the types of things that we cannot. And one of those things is being alert to early warnings that come along and give us a chance to further prepare when we have not done everything that we need to do to prepare for the storms that might be coming.
I think it's just serious stuff that this administration, with the cuts, I'm sure that was probably some Doge stuff also, cutting positions and all the people that they think aren't important, people that they think are just, just living off the, they really aren't doing anything. They just,
right.
But they are. And, you just wonder how many other parts of this government that's entrusted with people's lives.
Right.
There are parts of the government that are entrusted with people's lives, like this. And, it's just, I don't think we have any idea how dangerous that is.
Right. And part of the issue is this administration will move on. And there'll be another administration, but that administration, depending on their policies and philosophies, may say, good work, and we're going to leave it the way it is, and we're going to do more. Or it might say that was really horrible, it shouldn't have been done, and we're going to fix what we can.
Yeah.
Because that was years and decades of putting those things together, and I'm not sure many of those things can be turned around.
Snap of the finger, and
2 years.
It's back to no.
So, especially in the cases where some folks have been wiped out. So, what are you supposed to do for work? And say, well, new administration will be coming. You think? Meanwhile, I'm just not going to work, and I'll be back.
Yeah.
No.
Well. No. I don't know. It just seems to me that I don't remember all these wildfires when I was a child.
Right. Right. Exactly.
I just don't remember. I don't think it's something that we didn't hear about.
Right.
I just don't remember. Extreme weather like this in places.
Yeah.
Heat and all. We're accustomed to heat, but it's been a little hotter in the last, several years of my life to me. I'm older.
Yeah.
So I can't handle it as much, but it just seems a little hotter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be having a conversation with says leader Kathy Hambrick telling us about what's happening with the postponed event. Also weather related. But looks like they're going to have it anyway. It's coming back. So we're going to be talking with her about that. And as promised, we're going to be looking at some HBCU news that was pretty darn interesting. So we're going to be touching base on that. And we got some sports things we want to talk about as well. This is WBOK. And, Ro, what's that talk line number?
The number to call, 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good Monday morning, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Kubel, and here are today's headlines for you. With more heavy rain expected today, the Sewage and Water Board says that they are making improvements to their pumps. This after issues at multiple pump stations led to widespread flooding on Saturday. According to the Sewage and Water Board, one of two pumps at the Pritchard Pump Station in Holly Grove didn't turn on automatically like it was meant to. Meantime, Lakeview and Mid-City also saw flooding this weekend. The Sewage and Water Board officials say human error led to an issue with the pumps at Station 7, resulting in high water levels for about an hour and a half. The Sewage and Water Board says they are looking into those issues at both pump stations. And New Orleans Mayor Helena Moreno has officially been in office now for 6 months. And today, she is expected to release a full report on the city's accomplishments so far under her administration. The report is expected to include updates on public safety infrastructure, task forces created, and much more. And that is a look for you at your Monday morning headlines. I'm Elizabeth Kubel for WBOK. Have a great day, everyone.
Come close. No, closer. Have you heard about the new blues show? It's the Blues Buffet with Jay Boogie, serving up all the blues you love to listen to.
Hey, New Orleans, it's Jay Boogie inviting you to join me for the Blues Buffet, the best soul blues mix on the planet. Happening Saturday night at 9 o'clock, right here at 12:30 a.m. WBOK, what New Orleans is talking about.
Climate Hope NOLA presents this month's climate keyword, adaptation. Climate adaptation means preparing our communities for stronger storms, hotter days, flooding, and rising water. That means planting trees, restoring wetlands, protecting homes, and helping families recover stronger after disasters. In New Orleans, resilience is part of who we are and how we survive. Learn more, stay informed, and take action with Climate Hope NOLA. Visit Team Hope NOLA on Instagram to learn more.
Well, Saints of God, this is Pastor David Impartan Sr. coming to you over the airways of WBOK, your favorite host of Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want to invite you to our show every Saturday from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock p.m. That's Change Your Water, Change Your Mind. I want you to invite your family and friends to a broadcast that's designed to change your life, the way you think, the way you act, and what you eat. We want you to tune in every Saturday at 1 o'clock, WBOK, 12:30 a.m. See you on Saturday.
This is The Law in Your Legacy. I'm attorney Pete Hamilton.
I'm attorney Ryan Hamilton.
When it comes to family planning, should you go with a will or a trust?
A will is like leaving instructions to the court. It tells them who gets what, but your family still has to go through a succession, which can be costly and time-consuming.
A trust, on the other hand, avoids court altogether. So when the time comes, everything transfers smoothly to your loved ones.
It's a little more work up front, but way less hassle and expense later. Plan smart, save time, and take care of your family.
This is not legal advice. That's just a tip brought to you by Liberty Bank and Trust. For more information, go to libertybank.net or contact us at 504-915-5016.
This invitation goes out to all of us unworthy sinners who's been saved by the grace of God, where you and I are only made worthy by the blood of the Lamb and our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We're FIJTC, Faithers in Jesus the Christ. My name is Mr. Rocky. You can tune in to WBOK 12:30 a.m. Sunday mornings from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. Hope to see you there.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Today is a WDSU first warning weather alert day. We are talking about the possibility of some heavy rain as we start out for the first half of the day. Scattered showers, but downpours are expected to be the heaviest once we get to 2 p.m. to about 6 p.m. Flash flooding is possible for us. Highs for today will be into the mid-80s. More of that heavy rain is expected for your Tuesday, but not nearly as much as what we'll see for today. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Reshaw.
Good morning. Wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. I'm Will Sutton here with Ro Brown, and it's 8:26 a.m., so you got somewhere to be at 8:30. You got about 4 minutes. Please be safe. Please be
James
safe.
Brown.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because there's more reason. It's raining and slick out there, so be more careful than usual. So, speaking of James Brown and music, we welcome back to the Good Morning Show Kathy Hembrook from Amistad. Let's do another band.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, right. Well, you had a listening party scheduled.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you and a whole bunch of other folks who had events on that same night looked out and said, oh, no, this is not going to work.
The thunderstorms, I mean, we were watching, practically till that morning before we canceled. But you know how this goes in New Orleans. I want everybody to be safe.
Yeah.
We can party all the time.
Yep. But,
anytime.
But you're not done. It's coming back.
It's back. It's back on this Thursday, July 16th at 5:30 at the Blue Crawfish. And we will honor all previously purchased tickets from the June event that was rescheduled.
All right. Wonderful. So I've been to the Blue Crawfish.
Told you I was going to ask her, do I still have to? I was going to ask, okay?
Well, Ro, you don't have to, but I know you just may make another donation.
That's true. That's very true.
Yes.
So,
or bring some friends.
Yeah.
Bring some friends. Yes.
So for those who haven't been to the Blue Crawfish, describe it. It's a different kind of space.
Well, we've been doing this event kind of as a pop-up event around town. We started off at the Dewdrop Inn. We went over to Rosie's Jazz Hall on Tchoupitoulas. And then we heard about the Blue Crawfish Hotel.
Yes.
And bars, because there are multiple bars. And then when I went over and saw that huge outdoor area with the swimming pool, I said, what better place to be in the heat? Hot fun in the summertime.
Yeah.
Summer breeze, all those songs about summertime. Yeah. And so we want to also support Black businesses. And so we were very, very pleased. I was very, very pleased to meet the owner and his wife and the hospitality. They are willing to support the Amistad and being a partner and in this fundraising effort.
Well, it's a very nice space for those who haven't been there. The outdoor pool is like you walk in and it's like, whoa! And it's not a courtyard, it's a swimming pool with a number of spaces for people to sit and mingle. And there's a bar not far away, and the entryway is fabulous. They really put some thought and effort into that. And there are other spaces as well. But what a wonderful location for the rescheduled event.
Okay, so it's a very nice location. For what? What is a vinyl listening party? Okay, a lot of people wonder. A lot of people are probably asking what is vinyl, but you don't have to deal with that. Just what is a vinyl listening party?
Well, if you don't know what vinyl is, you may know what a record player was. If you don't know what a record player was or is, if you don't know what an album is, then you need to come, because there was a time in the evolution of music when we listened to music at a much slower pace, and we listened to music that was actually performed by human beings instead of downloaded from some computer or some AI generated who knows what. But so yes, so every vinyl album listening party, this is the third one. We started off honoring Sly Stone, Angie Stone, Roberta Flack, and Roy Ayers, who passed away in 2025. Then I said, we don't want to wait until people are gone before we recognize their music. We did the Ladies of Jazz, past and current, at Rosie's in March. And we're looking to do this at least 3 or 4 times a year. So the summertime listening party, where DJ Wicker will only play albums. There will be no downloaded digital sound being presented to you. And we are honoring Black male groups in music. So you guys know any of these people?
Oh, yeah. How about Temptations?
Temptations, a little bit of Temptations.
Four Tops?
Four Tops.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Commodores, the Bar-Kays, Cameo.
Oh, Cameo.
LTD.
The Platters.
Oh, boy.
The Impressions.
The Platters.
The Originals.
Yep.
I'm talking your time period.
Us old people, right?
So, we've
Little Anthony and the Imperials.
Yes, absolutely. Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Hey.
Chocolate Milk. We even found
Lord,
vinyl chocolate milk.
There you go.
The Meters, So, I've been saying to the younger people to bring your auntie, bring your uncle, tell them about it. You can come with them. The only rule for the vinyl album listening parties is that you don't talk about work.
Ooh.
And you don't talk about politics.
Woo! That can be hard for some of us.
So, you can talk about everything you remember when Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes was popular back when you guys were in your 30s.
Some decades ago.
You were in your I know I was, when I really, really listened to vinyl, I know I was probably 17, 18, 16 years old. And the quality of the music was a lot. What is quality? You guys tell me. You're in radio. What is quality when we talk about listening to music?
Hey, you.
Well, I remember having a vinyl record collection, 45s and albums primarily. There were a few 78s. A lot of people would have no idea what that is.
I should have brought one with me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But the technology, that's the word we would use now, that went into hi-fi and then stereo was superb. Now you as a user could mess it up because it was so fine with those tracks on the vinyl and then the needle. And if you didn't replace the needle or have the right needle, that was on you. But the music was wonderful. It was just a different experience than what we have now.
Well, I have 2 turntables.
You still do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
I have 2. And, the thing with me is that I like to know who was doing stuff. I want to know who produced it. I want to know who played that trumpet solo on such and such thing. And with albums, or as people used to say, albums sometimes.
Albums. Like the ambulance.
With albums,
Ambulance.
you can sit there and you can find that out. You can sit there and you can read that, okay? And, when you're downloading something, can't do that. You know?
Yeah, who can read a?
I can't figure that out. You know?
So liner notes. Liner notes were usually on the back of the album cover. If you opened up the artwork, liner notes, you could read just what you're talking about, Ro. You could know who every musician was on that particular song, that recording. We could read the lyrics.
Yep.
You know, we could read the lyrics and the artwork.
Yep.
The artwork on some of these albums was just incredible. So we will have an opportunity for you to go up to the DJ and look at the album covers and read the liner notes.
Yeah, people get awards for that stuff, just like the musicians do. People who write liner notes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. You know, the Grammys they have people write liner notes and that sort of thing, and and people who take the pictures on the front of the albums and all that good stuff. And, the one album that I had was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. I still have my original copy.
Oh, wow.
But it's beat up because people looked at the cover so much because it was one of the first albums that had lyrics.
Yes.
All the lyrics on it, and that front picture with people identifying who was in that picture and all that. So that was the fun part about albums for me.
Yeah, so it's a different kind of an experience for grown folks. It's at 5:30 on July 16th on a Thursday after work. Grab your friends. It's $25 at the door, or you can email vrainey at tulane.edu. Val is the operations manager at the Amistad. And, we kind of made a little bit of, I don't know if it's an error, but we put swimwear optional.
Oh, okay.
See, but that
On
can
the
be taken
flyer.
different ways, okay?
Which does not mean clothing optional.
That could be taken different ways.
So, there's been some jokes kind of going around about that era on me and Val's part. But
so you're gonna have to go someplace else for that.
You'll have to go to California.
Yeah, right.
Or to one of those, what do they call it? Hedonism? What do they call it? This is not that kind of party. But we do plan to have some fun this time. We plan to dance. We plan to meet with old friends. We hope that you will have some conversations about where you were when the Bar-Kays and Cameo and Chocolate Milk, where were you back in those days? And just have a good time. In church, we call it fellowship. And I don't think we have enough fellowship where we talk about something other than politics.
It's fun. It's fun.
So again,
it's a lot of fun.
What day is this coming?
This is this coming Thursday, July 16th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Blue Crawfish Hotel and Bar, 1620 Domain. So the entrance is on Domain, but it's at the corner of Claiborne and Domain. Domain, excuse me, not Domain.
Yeah,
Domain,
right.
thank you. Yes, Domain, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So for those of you all who haven't been over that way, so you want to look at parking a little bit further down the street if you're going to come at 6:30 or 6:45. You'll be able to get closer if you're going to be there early or on time.
Yes.
Because there's parking on both sides of the street, going around Claiborne, further down the street. I've been there.
Yes.
But
you've been everywhere.
So just realize that that's something you need to take in consideration so you can go on in and have a good time. All right. And how can people contact whoever they need to contact to get a ticket, and how much is that? And can they just show up and pay at the door?
Yes, you can just show up and pay at the door. It's $25. And V as in Victor, Rainey, VRAINEY at tulane.edu. you can get tickets, or you can go to the website amistadresearchcenter.org, and there is a link there where you can pay and get your ticket in advance.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And of course, Amistad is an incredible organization, an incredible facility, and this is a special year for you all. I don't want to go on without mentioning that, because you got some other things that people can watch out for coming up later on.
Yes, this is our 60th year anniversary. The Amistad Research Center started off at Fisk University in 1966. It moved to Dillard University a few years later. Then it moved to the Mint at the foot of the French Quarters for a little while. And thanks to former Mayor Dutch Morial and his wife Sybil Morial, they were determined not to have the Amistad collection moved to any other university in the country. And they were able to make arrangements since 1987. We have been at Tilton Hall at Tulane University. The Amistad is the largest independent repository for Black history in the world. We have over 900 plus collections, 1,100 works of art by 19th and 20th century African-American master artists. And this is just one of the events. The Vinyl Album Listening Party is a series of events we're doing in our 60th anniversary. On this Wednesday, anniversary year, on this Wednesday, we are having a book signing. And the book signing features Behind the Gavel. It is Lessons from Chief Justice Burnett Joshua Johnson.
All right.
Who was Louisiana, well, she is retired now, but she was Louisiana's first African-American female Louisiana Supreme Court justice. And so this is a book that she has written with the Honorable Katrina Griffin, and it's really designed for teenagers. It's for teenagers. And they say in the beginning of the book to teenagers or to young people, your story matters too. So she talks about the inspiration being born in rural Ascension Parish, Donaldsonville, moving to New Orleans at the age of 5. She went to Cohen High School, and then becoming the Supreme Court Chief Justice.
Yeah.
What a journey.
Quite a thing. All right. Well, thank you, Kathy, for coming in. We appreciate your time, as always. Glad to hear that the event is back on track for another good time later this week. I'm Will Sutton with Ro Brown. Ro Brown, what is that talk line number?
The number is 504-582-9422.
This is WBOK, 1230 a.m., what New Orleans is talking about all day long.
On WBOK 1230 AM.
As America celebrates our 250th birthday, I continue to reflect not only on where we are, but how we got here. Like millions of Americans, I am deeply proud of this nation. Make no mistake about it, I am proud to be an African American, and I am equally proud to be an American. And those two identities are not in conflict. They strengthen one another. Yet I worry that the story being told about our nation's founding has become too narrow, a move by some to erase or whitewash our history. It sometimes suggests that the birth of American freedom belonged to only one people, one culture, or one experience. History tells us something far richer and far more diverse. From the earliest days of the struggle for independence, African Americans, indigenous people, and immigrants stood beside the colonists in the fight for liberty. Some fought as freemen, others fought while still enslaved, believing that the ideals proclaimed in 1776 would one day include all of us. Historian Henry Louis Gates Jr. has documented the indispensable role of people of African descent played in the Revolutionary era. Retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore has likewise reminded audiences that the Continental Army drew strength from people of many backgrounds. That truth should not make any American uncomfortable. It should make every American proud. Because the foundation of this republic was never built by one race alone. It was built by people of different colors, cultures, languages, and faiths who shared a common belief that freedom was worth fighting for. America's strength has never come from uniformity. It has come from people of different races, cultures, and faiths choosing to build one nation together. That is our history, that is our promise, and that is the America worth celebrating. This is Norman Robinson off the top.
Attention, WBOK listeners. Are you a fan of the station and want to show your support in style? Well, we've got some exciting news for you. Introducing the official WBOK merchandise, the perfect way to wear your love for the station. Whether you're a longtime listener or a new fan, we've got something for everyone. Head to WBOK1230.com now and grab your WBOK gear before it's gone. When you buy WBOK merch, you're not just getting quality items, you're supporting the station you love.
Life has a way of shifting priorities, changing needs, and pivoting plans. Home Bank is there for all of them. Their bankers partner with you for every step along the way, from understanding your needs to celebrating your success. Home Bank is invested in the vibrant spirit of our community and in you. So partner with them. Stop on by any banking center in the greater New Orleans area or visit home24bank.com to get started today. Good for business, good for life. Home Bank, a member of the FDIC.
Transform your bathroom with the beautiful quality of Bath Planet. As a trusted leader in bathroom renovation, Bath Planet has earned the Good Housekeeping seal, a symbol of quality and consumer confidence for over 100 years. Get half off installation or 18 months with no interest and no payments. Whether it's tub replacement, a shower replacement, or a tub-to-shower conversion, Bath Planet makes your custom bath fast, easy, and affordable. Here's how it works. 1. Call to schedule your free, no-obligation consultation. 2. Our design experts come to you with real samples to customize your dream bath. 3. Our certified installers complete the transformation in as little as 1 day. And right now, for a limited time, you can upgrade your bathroom for 50% off installation or choose 18 months with no interest and no payments. But you need to call now. This special offer is only available by calling 800-981-8177. That's 800-981-8177. Call 800-981-8177 right now before the offer ends.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, New Orleans, and welcome back to the Good Morning Show. My name's Will Sutton, and his name is Ro Brown.
Good morning, everyone.
And that was a good conversation. I always like to hear these old group names, bring back some fond memories.
Yeah.
Catchphrase or two from the lyrics and all. Yeah. So that'll be a fun night for those of us who remember.
Yeah.
So it's 8:49 a.m. and we have a few more minutes before we get to the front porch. I'm an HBCU guy, and I like to follow various news and sports and entertainment related to HBCUs. And something happened over the weekend, and I wanted to get one of the Atlanta television station reports to share it with you. So let's see what they are reporting.
New tonight, one of the two contestants who was named Co-Miss Spelman amid controversy over a scoring error has stepped aside.
Yeah, so in an online interview with Baller Alert, Kensley Wilson said that the online attacks were affecting her mental health. Wilson was initially crowned the 43rd Miss Spelman on April 11th, with Jillian Collier named first runner-up. But officials later said a post-pageant review found a technical discrepancy in the scoring process. So after recalculating the results, the college determined that Collier had actually earned the highest overall score. Whoopsies on Spelman. They issued a statement on social media saying, in part, "We fully support Kensley, and we are deeply grateful for her grace and leadership throughout this journey."
Okay. So, that doesn't happen every year.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsies. So Spelman College, a premier HBCU, premier university college anywhere, they have a system for selecting Miss Spelman, and this was the first time that they had co-Miss Spelmans.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the result of a pageant, a vote that is weighted by percentages. And what happened is that one young lady was determined to be Miss Spelman. So there was a lot of joy and celebration by her supporters and friends and family.
Yeah.
And then sometime later, the college said, well, look, here's what actually happened. So there was a miscalculation, and it turns out you were not chosen. We have another young lady who was chosen, and we didn't announce that because those were not the numbers that we have. Now listen to this. The young lady who had been chosen as Miss Spelman with the miscalculation didn't come in second place. She didn't come in third place.
Oh, really?
She didn't come in fourth place. She came in fifth place.
Well, how was...
What's your question? I think everybody has that question. What's your question?
Well, how was she? I mean, I thought she was... I thought she was second.
No, sir. Heck of a miscalculation, huh?
All right. I just assumed she was second.
Absolutely. That's what any normal common sense person would. It's like, well, maybe we got it off by 5 points and, whatever. Apparently not.
A hanging Chad or something.
You're right.
Like
Apparently not.
Like the Bush Gore election.
Sister came in fifth place, and college officials went and talked with her and said, look, here's the thing. You didn't win. You're in fifth place. You can accept the fourth place because the other young lady will move up to first place. And if you do that, then you can say, it was my decision.
Yeah.
But she said, heck to the no. Y'all crowned me. You're giving me my marching orders.
Yeah.
And so I want to be Miss Spelman.
Yeah.
And so that's how they got co-Miss Spelmans.
Mm-hmm.
Co-Miss Spelmans.
Mm-hmm.
Spelmans. But there was so much controversy from alums and others saying this makes no sense to have co-Miss Spelmans trying to share those duties and the waves and all, that we want one Miss Spelman. Well, the one young lady who was chosen as the original winner decided it was too much for her.
Yeah.
Weighing on her heart and her head. And she said, you know what? Y'all can have it.
And
I'm stepping aside.
And social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weighing on her mental health and otherwise. So, senior, who thought she was Miss Spelman, is no longer Miss Spelman. And not Miss Miss Spelman. Yeah. Most unfortunate.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah. So, miscalculation. and hurt somebody's heart and the head too. So it was most unfortunate to see.
Yeah.
But, Ro, we got some sports news.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to make sure that we got in before we got out of here.
The Summer League is going on in the National Basketball Association, and the Pelican Summer League team is playing in Las Vegas. Interesting that the Pelicans have not won a Summer League game since 2023.
Oh, my.
However, they've won 2 in a row now. Yeah. The second coming yesterday, 81-75 over the Phoenix Suns. And Jaron Pierre, the New Orleanian, who was drafted in the second round by your New Orleans Pelicans, had 16 points and was pretty impressive in the parts that I saw of the contest. I think he had 12 points in the previous win. The previous day, I think that was Saturday. Yeah, they played Saturday and Sunday, I think, but somewhere in there. But they've won 2 in a row now, and Mr. Pierre from right here in New Orleans looked pretty good. Solomon Washington from Carver High School is also on the Pelicans Summer League team. He saw his first action yesterday, didn't score any points, however. So that looks pretty good. Reports that Tyler Shuck, the Saints quarterback, is meeting with receivers and everybody for private workouts out in California.
Really?
And they will be joined by Drew Brees.
Wow.
Little private workouts, significant because Tyler Shuck is supposedly footing the bill. Travel and hotel and all of this. Now, for you and I and most of us, if we made the money that Tyler Shuck made, it'd be no big deal. It would feel that way to us.
Right.
But he's in his first contract. He ain't making that much.
Yeah, right, right.
He ain't making what Drew Brees was making, in year 15. No, he's not that. Okay, so it's kind of impressive that he's doing that. That could be a big chunk there.
Yeah.
So anyway,
let's get this together.
But it shows how much he, the leadership that he is, taking in this. And for those of you who are still interested in the World Cup, and I think people are, and I think the closer it gets, they're into the semifinal round tomorrow and Wednesday. Let's see, in one of those semifinals, it's Spain versus France, and the other is Argentina versus Great Britain. These are the big boys. These 4 are these are the teams in the world. Okay, these are the 4 that before this started, people would say that if you came down to a Final Four, it would be these 4.
Yeah.
So they're there. So it'll be interesting stuff to look at. Even if you don't like soccer, if you never looked at it before, this is the highest level of play.
Yeah.
Okay, this is it. I mean,
all right.
you're not going to see anything better than that.
Yeah. Well, the Americans are out. Now the big boys are playing.
Yeah.
And we'll watch and see what happens.
There you go.
All right. It's 8:58 a.m. I'm Will Sutton here with Ro Brown. Coming up next is The Front Porch. And after that, we will have Tavis Smiley.
I got to put this in.
Go ahead.
It wasn't covered by television, but the HBCU Swingman Classic, which is one of the events of the Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend, culminates with the All-Star Game on Tuesday. The HBCU Swingman Classic, that was a collection of HBCU baseball players who play there in Philadelphia at the All-Star Game and all that sort of thing. They played on Thursday or Friday. The MVP of the Swingman Classic was Jacoby Radcliffe of Southern University in Baton Rouge. Southern had 6 people who played in this game. SUNO had 1 person play in the game. Donovan Hill, the only NAIA player in that. And to my surprise, I wasn't aware of this, Jacoby Radcliffe is the grandnephew of Ted Double Duty Radcliffe, a Negro League great who lived to be over 100 years old, who had the nickname Double Duty because he caught the first game of a doubleheader and pitched the second game of a doubleheader.
All right.
Anyway.
All right, we got to go. Make room for The Front Porch. Thank you to our guests today. And we're going to make room for The Front Porch, and then Tavis Smiley, and, of course, the G-Man, Gerard Stevens, on Reality Check. That's going to do it for us. WBOK 1230 AM, what New Orleans is talking about all day long.